I mean, it comes across like that to a lot of people. We're looking at how close this race is. And, you know, we had the town hall with Harris this week. We heard from voters saying, I want specifics from her. I want to know what my taxes are going to look like when I'm filing them in April if she's in the Oval Office.
I mean, he truths about me on Truth Social, but we don't have a relationship. That's as close as we come. I haven't spoken to him since right before he left the White House. It's just now it's talking point, talking point, talking point. And I just don't see, you can see he's declined. It's just reality. Father Time is undefeated.
Breaking news. MarkCuban just schooled Trump so hard on Twitter, even Trump University is embarrassed. The SharkTank star tore into Trump's tariff talk, leaving the Donald floundering like a fish out of water. Want to see a billionaire versus billionaire smackdown that'll make you laugh harder than Trump's hair in a windstorm? Stick around as we break down this epic roast that's got the internet in stitches. This has always blown my mind a little bit. 91% that watch this show regularly haven't subscribed. Could I ask you for a small favor before we start? If you like this show, what we do here, and want to support us, the free simple way you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. Alright folks, grab your popcorn because the billionaire battle of the century just went down on Twitter, and it's juicier than a double cheeseburger at Mar-a-Lago. Our boy MarkCuban decided it was time to give old Donnie Diapers a lesson in economics 101, and let me tell you, it was more entertaining than watching Trump try to close an umbrella. So picture this, Trump's over there tweeting about slapping a 60% tariff on Chinese imports like it's no big deal, but Cuban, being the savvy shark he is, smelled something fishy and decided to take a bite. He fired off a tweet that hit Trump harder than a golf ball to the noggin, explaining that these tariffs would make everything way more expensive for regular folks like us.
Do you think voters see it that way? I mean, obviously it was a major issue for Biden. He's not in this race anymore because of it. They don't see Trump the same way?
No, not at all, because Trump never is intellectual about anything.
The New York Times called you the most surprising surrogate for her. You're someone who's known Donald Trump for a long time. You used to actually give him political advice. And I wonder, you know, when you describe your relationship, I was looking at this today in 2016.
Having known him for 25 years, early on in the early 2000s, you can have a legitimate conversation with him.
What do you make of how he was when you knew him 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and the candidate that you do see out on the campaign trail today?
Now you might be thinking, but wait, isn't Trump supposed to be this big shot businessman? Well, apparently his business acumen is about as real as his hair color. Cuban broke it down so simply, even a 5-year-old could understand it. He was like, hey, Trumpster, these tariffs, they're basically just a fancy word for taxes on us regular Joes and Janes. But here's where it gets really good. Cuban didn't just stop at explaining tariffs like he was talking to a toddler, which, let's face it, might be giving Trump too much credit. He went full-on savage mode, mixing humor with cold, hard facts. It was like watching a shark circling its prey, except the prey was wearing a bad toupee and had tiny hands. Cuban's tweets spread faster than fake tan on a white shirt.
You don't hear him talk in depth about policies at all. And so you can get by with just sound bites. You can get by with being loud and boisterous and salesy.
What do you make of how he was when you knew him 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and the candidate that you do see out on the campaign trail today? I mean, it comes across like that to a lot of people. We're looking at how close this race is. And, you know, we had the town hall with Harris this week. We heard from voters saying, I want specifics from her. I want to know what my taxes are going to look like when I'm filing them in April if she's in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I mean, the weave is on his head and in his mouth and it's not working. You know, he's slowed down. There's no question about it.
People were retweeting and liking his posts like there was no tomorrow. It was like the whole internet collectively said, finally, someone's speaking our language. Cuban managed to take these complex economic ideas and serve them up in bite-sized, easy-to-digest pieces. It was like he was hosting Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And Trump was the contestant who couldn't make it past the first question. As the Twitterverse held its breath, waiting to see if Trump could come up with a comeback that didn't involve his usual sad or fake news nonsense, Cuban kept landing blow after blow. He even threw in a little humble brag, saying he's learned a lot about business, including how tariffs work. Ouch, that's gotta sting worse than a spray tan in the eyes. Well, folks, it looks like our boy Donnie Diapers just couldn't handle the heat in the Twitter kitchen. After Cuban served him a steaming plate of economic reality, Trump decided to fight back the only way he knows how, by mashing his tiny fingers on his phone's keyboard like a toddler playing whack-a-mole. Trump's first brilliant move? Calling Mark Cuban overrated. Ooh, burn. I'm sure Cuban's crying into his billions right now. It's like watching a preschooler try to insult a college professor. You're a big dumb head. Nice try, Trumpy. But wait, it gets better.
It's just now it's talking point, and I just don't see. You can see he's declined. It's just reality. Father Time is undefeated. You don't ever think of Donald Trump and think, wow, that was really an in-depth conversation he had with somebody.
You know, when you look at your surrogacy for Harris, you've been out there stumping for her, making the argument for her. You know, Trump's plan is tariffs, which, you know,
don't work.
Our Orange in Chief then decided to bring up, wait for it, The Apprentice. Because nothing says I'm a serious politician, like bragging about your reality TV ratings from a decade ago. It's like trying to win an argument about astrophysics by showing off your macaroni art from kindergarten. As Trump's tweets got more and more unhinged, it was like watching a live-action version of autocorrect gone wild. The spelling errors were so bad, they made Kofi Faye look like Shakespeare. One tweet was so garbled, it seemed like Trump was trying to communicate in some sort of secret code. Maybe he's finally cracked under the pressure and thinks he's James Bond. But the real cherry on top of this word salad sundae was Trump's claim that nobody knows more about tariffs than me. Oh honey, that's like saying nobody knows more about brain surgery than a guy who once watched an episode of Grey's Anatomy. Trump's understanding of tariffs is about as deep as a puddle in the Sahara. As economic experts face-palmed so hard they left marks, Trump kept digging his hole deeper.
I mean, this is our country. It's beautiful, we love it. I'm still part of the older generation, love it or leave it. You don't think of Donald Trump and say, that was really nuanced in what he had to say about this position or his policy. I mean, he truths about me on Truth Social, but we don't have a relationship. That's as close as we come. I haven't spoken to him since right before he left the White House. And to say that we've become the garbage can is insulting to every single American. You can't be 78 years old and not expect some decline.
He insisted that China would pay for the tariffs, which is kinda like saying the Tooth Fairy will fund Medicare. Sorry, Donnie, but that's not how any of this works. Tariffs are paid by consumers in the importing country. You know, the people you're supposed to be helping? As Trump's Twitter tantrum reached fever pitch, the memes started rolling in faster than you can say sad. The internet was having a field day, comparing Trump's meltdown to everything from a toddler missing nap time to a cat trying to catch a laser pointer. It was like watching a comedy roast, except the person being roasted was too dumb to realize it. Meanwhile, Cuban was probably kicking back with a bowl of popcorn, watching the chaos unfold. He didn't even need to tweet anymore. Trump was doing all the work for him, turning himself into a laughingstock with every caps-locked word. Well, folks, it looks like Cuban's Twitter takedown of Trump went more viral than a cat video during a pandemic. Who knew economics could be so entertaining? Cuban's tweets spread faster than gossip at a high school reunion, reaching millions of eyeballs and sparking a nationwide chat about tariffs. It's like he turned Twitter into Econ 101, but way more fun and with 100% less homework. This whole Twitter tussle shows us that social media isn't just for sharing memes and stalking your ex. Nope, it's become a megaphone for big economic ideas. Cuban managed to break down complex stuff like tariffs into bite-sized nuggets that even your average Joe could digest without getting indigestion. And let's be real, anything that makes people actually want to talk about economics deserves a gold star, or at least a blue check mark.